We sing together, Hinei Matov Umanaim, how good and how pleasant it is to be here together with friends, with family, and to celebrate and welcome Shabbat.
Tonight we are elevating, Ben, where do you go to camp?
GUCI.
We are elevating GUCI melodies and melodies from Nifty, and so some of them might be really familiar and some may not be, and we hope that you will sing along with us.
And we would like to invite to lead us with the candles and the blessing over the fruit of the wine, the Kiddush, everyone who was in camp this summer or that went to Israel this summer. So were you at camp? So come over.
There we go. Okay, we've got one. Ben was in Israel, right?
I was, yes.
You were?
And your older brother did not go to camp? Okay.
Okay, we've got Ben. We've got... There we go.
Those are tricky candles.
There we go.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
So beautiful. We're going to say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we turn now to page 5 for the blessing over the fruit of the vine.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Beautiful. And Ben, will you lift up that big Kiddush cup? Or Rabbi's got it awesome. Nice and high, nice and high. We sing together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. And we say, L'chaim.
And we turn now to page 20 to sing together Lecha Dodi.
Ateret bala, gam besimcha, uvetzola, toch emuneh, am segula.
Please rise as we turn to page 28 for the Berlow.
Dark, roll into light. This prayer, these English words that we'll sing, they're catchy, you'll catch on. Come from our Ma'ariv Aravim text. And if you imagine sitting around the campfire on Shabbat, wearing white, hanging out with your best friends, you see the sun begin to set, that glow turn red and orange against that purple dusky sky. That's the magic of Shabbat. That is the changing from day to night that the Shabbos angels do. It's like pulling a blanket over the earth. Roll into dark, roll into light. Roll into dark, roll into light. Light becomes day, day turns to night. Try with us. Roll into dark, roll into light. Roll into light, night. Night becomes day, day, day turns to night. Little Hebrew. Roll into dark, roll into light, night, night becomes day, day, day turns to night. Roll, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
Turn to page 34 for the calling of the Shema.
So as that light fades and that dusk becomes even more of a blanket, we get really quiet. And we can say, shh, to represent that quiet. Can everybody say that with me like this? Shh. I learned this from my camp counselor. And then when we're really quiet, we're really centered, and we feel like we're getting ready to enter into this prayer, this Shema, we can then focus on the that deliciousness. It's like a hug. So we give ourselves a hug. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. You can give yourself a hug or just feel that embrace of Adonai. So what you do is shh. We feel that embrace of Adonai. I feel so good. And then we listen. Ah, just like that. Can everybody say that with me? Ah, that nice, that sigh as if we're relaxing into that embrace, like a mountain breathing. If we were standing at Sinai, that quiet moment as we received the 10 Commandments. So shh, ma, one more time, shh, ma, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
You shall love
Please be
Adonai,
seated.
your God, with all your heart. You can be seated. With all your soul and with all your might, and all these words which I to your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and they shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
And we turn now to page 40 to sing together Mi Chamocha.
Please join us together in this reading. I love this reading because it reminds us that Mi Chamocha is a song. Join me and Rabbi and Ben on page 41 to help us prepare as we move into Mi Chamocha. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei felech, mi chamocha va'elim Adonai. Nora tehilot, osei felech, osei felech. Yai lai lai, let's hear you. Here we go. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. We walked out of the ocean and we sang that song so joyfully. And then we were in the desert. And we were afraid. We didn't know which way to go, where to turn. We felt unsafe, unprotected, and this prayer, Hashkivenu, comes out of that feeling. Whenever we feel unsafe and unprotected, Hashkivenu Adonai, may you bring us into shelter in the shadow of your wings of peace. Hashkivenu, page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu l'shalom,
Shalom,
v'havidenu came out of GUCI. Hashkivenu Adonai
Adonai.
Eloheinu l'shalom
L'shalom.
V'havidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashivenu Adonai
Adonai.
Eloheinu l'shalom
L'shalom.
V'havidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai
Adonai.
Eloheinu l'shalom
L'shalom.
V'havidenu shomreinu l'chaim. L'chaim. One more time. L'chaim. Ben, would you introduce our next?
Okay, our next song is Vishamru. This is a camp original. It's one of the song leaders at camp wrote it. Couldn't remember, but it kind of embraces the idea of our Shabbat. We sing it pretty much every Shabbat morning. It's fun. It's fast. It's it kind of embraces that GUCI spirit where we want to make Judaism and praying fun and not just praying.
And there's a really
It's great
cool
as both.
part, right? Like at Asa Adonai.
Yes.
You're
So
going to hear us. What do we do?
So we're going to stop. It'll go Kisheshe Ya Amim, and we're going to stop. And everyone says Asa Adonai, and the music keeps going.
And what does that mean? That means that God created. So Kishesha Jamim, 6 days. Asa Adonai, that God created. It's like the highlight. And I don't know. You're gonna have to go to camp and find out why they wrote it that everybody says Asa Adonai. But I think it's that we're here and on this planet, and that we get to have the sacred holy time together. So we're gonna follow your lead, Mr. Ben.
Ready?
Vishamru. B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat. La'asot et HaShabbat. L'dorotam.
Read along. Let's do that again.
One more time.
Vishamru. B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat. La'asot et HaShabbat. L'dorotam.
Read along.
Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Oti le'olam, Vishamru. B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. La'asot et HaShabbat. L'dorotam. Read olam. Kisheshe Ya'amim.
Asa Adonai.
Et HaShamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru. B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat. La'asot et HaShabbat. L'dorotam. Read olam. Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinofash Shabbat vayinofash V'shameru B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Brit olam. Let's try just our voices. V'shameru B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Brit olam.
I have to say that I disagree with Cantor and with Ben and with GUCI. My highlight is that on the seventh day God rested, and that's why we rest for Shabbat. But you guys like to work, so you like the busy 6 days of work. I like the seventh day of rest.
Rabbi, you're like my husband and my daughter.
Okay. We rise as we turn to page 46 for the tefillah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gehula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatah, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha b'gevurot, Umido melach, Melech v'mid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
Please sit as we turn to page 61 for the blessing for shalom, the blessing for peace and wholeness and wellness in our life. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, or eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
May the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer.
L'ratzon Yom.
Libi lefanecha. Adonai,
Adonai,
Tzuri,
Tzuri,
Vegoali, Adonai, Tzuri, Vegoali.
may the words
Of my mouth
and the meditations of my heart
be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer.
Yehu, Leratzon, Imrefi, Begyon,
Libi
Lefanecha,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Tzuri,
Tzuri,
Vegoali, Adonai, Tzuri, Vegoali.
We turn to page 253 for the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing and courage and strength in our lives. As we think of everyone that is dear to us, that needs healing and courage and strength, we say their names in our hearts as we sing together on page 253, the Misha Berach. So as we prayed tonight, the Cantor mentioned the central and the most famous maybe prayer and gave an introduction to it, the Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, that comes from the book that we're reading right now of the Torah, Deuteronomy. It's in Deuteronomy 6. And when you think about it, even though it's the most common prayer and maybe even the most known verse in the entire Torah to Jews, to our tradition. It's a very weird mitzvah because it says, the first word is Shema here, and then it says, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. I would think that the commandment should not be here, but know that our God is one, and know that that God is our God and has a special relationship with us. And in this week's Torah portion, we have another phenomena, which is kind of a weird commandment that you wouldn't think that that's how you would know those things. The Torah portion begins by a statement, Re'eh natati lefanecha et habracha ve'et haklala, et hatov ve'et hara. I don't need to translate, right? See, okay, the commandment needs to see, to watch, and then it says, I've given you freedom of choice. You can see what is a curse and what is a blessing, what is right and what is wrong to do. And again, I would think that the commandment should be, you should know what is right and what is wrong, what is a blessing and what is a curse, and then from that knowledge, make the decision out of the freedom of choice. But yet, in our tradition, especially in the book of Deuteronomy, it's not enough to know that we have one God and that's our God and we have a special relationship. It's not enough to know that there is freedom of choice and there is good and bad and blessing and curse, and we have the ability to make the distinguish between good and bad and blessing and curse. We were blessed with freedom of choice and we can make that decision because, as we all know, those things are actually very difficult. Life is not that easy. It's not that clear always what is a blessing and what is a curse, what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. So many times in our lives, we actually don't know what is the right thing to do. And I think that in the calling of the Shema, that you're not commanded to know, but to hear. Just as you're not commanded to know, but to look, you need to bring your senses, because those things are actually not clear. They're not evident. They're not science. Those are complex issues. When it comes, at least in the book of Deuteronomy, to questions of faith and to questions of knowing what is right and what is wrong, we need our senses, because there are more question marks than exclamation points in issues of faith and in issues of doing the right thing and not the wrong thing. Shabbat Shalom as we turn to page 283 and rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורל לנו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember especially Joshua Fink, Raymond Allen Sr., Dr. Stanley Frager, Max Goldstein, Larry Greenwald, Ida Kelber, Sandra Renko, Irving Schneider, David Kleinman, Harry Lorber, David Van Dam, Marjorie Baker, Midge Van Dam Belker, Molly Y. Cohen, Helen C. Erdley, Carol Geisberg, Maurice Green, Barry Elliott Landy, Rose Promchok, Ann Wolf, Isaac Yusim, James Frank, Louis Glogauer, Eugene Goodbab, Norman Kahn, Mary Stone, Simon Weinschenker, Brenda Gibson, Jacob Ornstein, Carl J. Marks, Sharon Pell, Alan Rosenstein, Patricia Pat Schuland, Edward Stern, Lily Wartime, Jack Ura, Bernice Brill, Bonnie Cohen Wabner, Sarah Steinbach, Emily Miller. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories from our loved ones in our heart, we rise as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction to us all. Amen. Our closing song is עושה שלום.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi.
Please say a Shabbat Shalom to someone you never met before and to people you do know. And please join us with baked goods baked by the women of Reform Judaism for an oneg. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.